And who do we have in the studio? TopCheri, what?
In the flesh. How are you?
Oh man, it is so good to really meet you.
I'm glad to be here.
It is our honor. Please,
Yeah.
welcome to Germany. How
Thank
is
you
it so
much.
far?
The weather is so cold. It's so cold, but I love it. I love it so much.
But I can tell you the people are not as cold. They give you the warmth.
Yeah,
Or-
yeah.
that's what I like
because
to
of
hear.
the people that I'm saying, oh, it's not that bad. Because every time you say it's cold,
Yes.
someone is making a plan for you, you know?
And this is what we can give you 77%. As
Yeah.
You had it first from the lady, TopCheri EES. Now, listen, you are an award-winning musician.
Yes.
In Namibia, right?
Yes.
You have won multiple NAMAs, that is the Namibian Music Awards.
Yes.
Could you have imagined yourself 10 years ago at this point?
I'll probably be lying if I say no. Because I know since I can remember, since I was a little girl, my confidence was always on 100, you know? My mother, people at home would always say like, can you relax? Can you relax? You know? And me, I would always want more. I would always want more. I would want bigger. You know, since I was a little girl, I was singing in church, literally performing in church on the altar, and I'm performing, you know? So people around me knew that this child right here is going to be something someday, you know? But me in my head, I didn't really think music is, you know, but I knew because ever since I was a child, I've always wanted to be a star.
You've always wanted to be a star.
I've always wanted to be a star.
And then somehow your journey drove you to journalism.
Yes.
Right? How did that happen then?
Well, our industry, unfortunately, in Namibia, it's not that easy. You don't just say, I want to go paint, and then you go paint. I want to write, and you go write. No, like there's channels, you know, there's channels. So when you become a journalist, so I became a journalist, an entertainment journalist. So I met a lot of artists because I used to write about them, you know. So in that process, I made friends here and there. And, you know, there was this team, Omalaiti, it's a label. When we went to the north to shoot Captain Kalola, I would be at the back of the bus with my earphones, and I'd be singing, and Dion would come to me and he would say, do you know that you can sing you?
So Dion is
a group of, a singing group.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
And he said, do you know you can sing you? And I'll be like, yeah, I know. He's like, but you know that you can do it, you know, to be a musician. But it's really hard in our country to be a journalist and be that because like there, you choose what you want to be and you pick that and you can't be other things. You know?
I just want to understand.
Yeah.
On this bus trip, you went in the capacity of an entertainment journalist.
I went as a journalist. Yes, I was a journalist. I used to work in that office and he said, there's a role for a little girl with natural hair that's all over the place and that character fits you. And I said, tell me when and where, and I'm gonna be on that bus. And I was on that bus. And we went to shoot that movie, and that movie also birthed my musical career. That's how amazing my journey is, you know? My journalism birthed my film career, and my film career birthed my music career.
And now you have been launching bangers, millions of hits on YouTube.
Yes.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, please, on the 77%, we are in the know. So please go on YouTube, check out her music. So you went from journalism to entertainment journalism to being a star, but also you are actually changing lives through your activism. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? Well,
also, where I come from, you know, I wasn't raised by my mother or my father. I was raised in a completely, totally different atmosphere, you know? So when I grew up and I went to become, in my head, I always know there's a little girl, there's a little boy out there somewhere who wakes up every day and just wishes someone could walk up to her and give her a hug for no reason, you know? Because that, like I always tell people, like, I understand money is important, food is important, but just making someone feel like you are appreciated, you are important, you know? So I visit schools and I collect sanitary pads and I go to schools and I talk to the girls because in Namibia, like, it's really it's a pandemic, I must say. Like, little girls as young as 10, as 11, is pregnant, you know? And it's most of the time, it's not by choice, you know? So I visit schools and I talk to these girls about these things, you know? I tell them the importance of education, why it's important to stay in school. So yeah, like, it's things that come from within me.
And so you're saying that growing up in Walvis Bay, did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes.
Inspired you to to want to look back and see how can I make an impact in life, right? In the lives of the younger people who are coming behind me. And how did you make the transition then, right? It is a port city, yes, it's vibrant, but how did you make a transition to actually thrive? Because you're not surviving you're thriving in the capital city. How was that transition for you?
It was hard. It was really hard. And everybody back home was like, no, like, don't do it. Just stay home, you know, because that capital is so hard. Like, you're not going to make it.
Yes. What kind of challenges did they expect you to face?
Yeah, like, because if you don't know people, like, if you don't have a plug, if you don't have a connect, it's so difficult to make it anywhere, you know? But I was so determined. I was so hungry for it because for me, it wasn't for me. It wasn't just, I wasn't doing it for me. I was doing it for every little girl and every little boy that was told that your dreams, you can never become, you can never get there, you know? So I really pushed with everything that I am and everything that I have to make it in the city.
And making it is what we are going to continue having here on the 77% show. Now, I want us to quickly take a break, but just before the break, I want to ask you, in which language do you dream?
I think definitely in Oshikwanyama. In my mother tongue.
In your mother tongue?
Yes. Because I express myself so much better. Like, even when I pray, when I talk to God, I come to him and I'm like, yo, big homie, this is me to pop session, she pay fair. You know, I go in my mother tongue because I believe he understands me better that way. So yeah, I think I dream definitely in Oshikwanyama.
We are still hanging out with TopCheri, what, in the studio. And, you know, speaking of language being a unifying factor, I mean, Namibia is one country that has several languages spoken in the country, right? And undoubtedly, it is a land of beauty. But it is also home to one of the world's most unequal societies, with a huge gap between the rich and the poor. What will it take to unite the country?
Namibia, a land of vast open spaces, blessed with good climate, rich in its natural resources, and a relatively good standard of living, but it also has lots of problems. I would know. That is my home country. Namibia is one of the world's most unequal societies. The gap between the rich and poor is staggering. Years of colonialism, then apartheid, privileged the white minority population. And since Namibia became a democracy in 1990, there is still a long way to go.
We live in the world that has created the systems that make sure that they will protect the haves. That's the reality of the fact.
We have to look at the future. We have to look at building something. We have to look at developing. We have to grow as a nation.
But it doesn't stop there. High unemployment, especially among the youth, has been worsened by the COVID-19 pandemic. And there is also a significant power imbalance in the Namibian society between men and women, and gender-based violence is shockingly high.
We live in a society where power dynamics are very much pervasive. Power dynamics that also make those choices on behalf of other people, and therefore also remove the agency of especially adolescent girls, young women, and gender non-conforming people.
And traditionally, you're taught to not sort of really refuse when a man approaches you because this man is older than you are.
In other words, our country needs a whole lot of uniting and across many lines, but there are many youth who are trying to change that.
And I am so lucky to have in the studio two of the youths pushing for Namibia's unity through their art. I am talking about TopCheri and EES. TopCheri, what?
Good to be here. Thank you very much.
It is amazing that you made the time to join us in the studio. I love having you. I don't know if you guys can get this at home, but the energy in the studio is a fire. Now, I want us to talk a little bit about that report that we just watched from my colleague, Okeri, talking about unity in the country, right? In your country. Maybe I start with you, TopCheri. Would you say that Namibia is on the right road in terms of coming together?
We are headed into a direction, yes, but we are still so far. We are really, really so far because the necessary people that we need to be on the forefront to hold our hands and say, okay, I get what you guys are doing, let's do this. Those people we don't have, unfortunately.
Which people would this be?
Like the main people, like, I mean, our leaders, our people in corporate, the people, the haves, like you just said, the haves, you know. in order for us to also have the have-nots into the conversation, you know, but people are having conversations and meetings for those people, but they are not part of the meeting. You get, how do you...
So bring them to the table. Bring everyone to the table.
How are you speaking for someone and you are voicing for them, but they are not on the table? How are you speaking for someone who's hungry when you are sitting here with a cup full of water? You know? So that's why I'm saying we are headed, because there are really a great amount of youths within the country that is really pushing. But unfortunately, you know, it's not so easy because the push that we need is not there.
Hey, you had it right?
Yeah.
That is TopCheri. What? She's not just about music, no. It's also about changing lives. What about you, EES?
I feel that music can do so much good. When I started my career, people looked at me like, what is this guy doing? Something is weird there.
Yeah.
I took the Namibian flag because that's where I was born. You know, I took it, and wherever I performed on stage, going international, I have that flag with me just to show that Namibia, under the flag, we are one country. And we as the youth, when we do music together at my shows, I see all types of people, all types of skin colors, cultures, language, everything. So music has that power, and that's what we are pushing right now. So like TopCheri said, we are on the right way. It's just give us youth the chance to change and make Africa paradise for everybody.
Yeah.
I have to just put these 2 points very succinctly. First of all, invite the youth to the table. Secondly, use that art to change that world and unite people. Now, back to you, TopCheri. Whoa! I just love your name. I love your name.
Yeah.
When I would ask you right now, right, to name a musician, dead or alive, that you would collaborate with, who would you pick?
I almost said EES.
Hey.
I thought, we have a song. I mean, but yeah, I really love, with all my heart, I would really, really love a song with Yemi Alade. Yeah, she's to me the most authentic queen we have on the planet, you know, because I don't know if you follow her or if you know her music, her vibe, but that would be a dream for me to just have a jam with Yemi.
And my dream right now is Yemi Alade, if you're watching this because you're a cool 77%er, get in touch and let's make this happen. And in fact, because you've mentioned her, you have a song called Dear Johnny. Is it Dear Johnny or Johnny?
Dear Johnny. Yes.
Dear Johnny.
Yes.
When I listened to this song, I thought, this Johnny is just perambulating across the continent, breaking girls' hearts. What is happening? Is there some history to this song?
Nah. It's just something that happens every day. Is can tell you, like, guys back home is on the Spring Kings every day to break a heart. You know, your heart gets broken now, not later, now. You cry now.
You also mentioned on the topic, you know, we could dig deeper into this Johnny issue because Yemi Alade sang about this Johnny. You sang about this Johnny. Are you also gonna sing about a Johnny?
No, I'm more like the guy who makes love songs where I really appreciate the woman, you know, and don't do these player things. Because I think it's time for women. It's your time now. You are two in the show. I'm one guy representing, but I think it's just we must show so much more love and respect, because especially also the African women, they are the backbone of Africa. They hold, and that's the respect we need to show them.
I love this. And indeed, you have a song that you slightly mentioned about. You have worked together, right?
Yes.
You know, working with the power of the woman. What drew you to actually working together?
So I saw TopCheri slowly, because I've been in the industry for almost 20 years now, and I saw her the last couple of years, she was just getting higher and higher, and I saw that energy, and I'm also a very energetic guy. So if something that draws me a lot, then it's energy and authenticness. So I said, I need that one song, that perfect song to put her on. That day came, I had the song, I got the number, I called her from Germany. I was in Germany that time, I called her from Germany. She was screaming on the phone. She was like, no, this cannot be. Please, you tell us.
Actually, first, I got a call from my producer, and he said, yo, he's just called me and he said he wants a song. And I'm like, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I'm so busy right now. Bye. I hung up and I went about my day. I think the producer called him and said, yo, that girl doesn't believe me. So
Here's the number.
I get a call and I'm like, okay, foreign number. I'm like, hello? Yo, this is EES. I'm like, okay. You know, so for me, it was like, yo, wow, you know, because that for me meant that, you know, I am here and the recognition is there. If EES can recognize me and my work from, you know, it's all over the continent, you
Your
know.
work speaks for
me,
itself.
that was really big.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now I have to ask you, why do you think your song, which is why when we unite, right? Why do you think it's so important right now?
I think it's important, especially where I come from, you know, because especially in the arts, you know, everybody's trying to do their own thing. Everybody is so concentrated on their own thing that you don't even want to let someone else in, you know. But when we did that song, we're showing that it can be done. You know, we can work together and it can be a bomb and we can make it work.
Aye, we can make it. You want to add something?
And we can even think cross borders, because right now we have so much not really cool things happening even in Europe and stuff like that. So when you see people uniting, we can fight against those not cool things happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a song for anybody, anywhere in the world.
Any situation. Yeah.
And now,
Come together.
as unfortunately, my producer is telling me, you guys, I know I want to talk to you. You know, look, but as I wrap up, right? Do you guys have any plans to work together in the future?
Oh,
of course.
Definitely. Because after this song, we were even thinking about like coming together in the studio here in Germany while we are here.
Yeah.
But the time is like this. But the connection is there. The energy is there. Even in the studio when we did the song, it worked so nicely.
So
I have to quickly ask, where did you do this? So you called from Germany, but where was the song actually produced?
Namibia.
In Namibia.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Wow. Listen, the 77% has got it. What you're asking? Well, the coolest people from Namibia in the studio.